What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've finally had the reveal of the Doctor Strange Hero Pack for the Marvel Champions Living Card game. We knew this was coming, it was put on eBay a few weeks ago at this stage, but the good news is, it's finally real, and once again we've got unique mechanics, and once again it looks wonderful. So we start off having a look at, well, let's start with Doctor Strange. It's a Doctor Strange deck. Let's start with Doctor Strange. And we see that we have got a thwart of 2, which is on the higher end, an attack of 1, which is terribly low, and a defense of 2, which is about average. So, not great stats. Now, we've got 10 hit points, which on the lower end again, and a hand size of 5, which is on the higher end. So we've got a weaker character stats-wise, but we do have an alright hand size here. Now, it's got an action whereby you exhaust Doctor Strange and pay the cost of the top card of the Invocation deck and resolve the special ability on that card. Which leads to the fairly obvious question, what's an Invocation deck? Well, good news, ladies and gentlemen. We know what it is. What we have is a deck of 5 cards, the top card of which is always face up. So rather than having one fixed ability, Doctor Strange essentially has 5 abilities that you cycle through using your Invocation deck. So for instance, we've got Crimson Band of Cyttorak, a 2-cost event, and you stun an enemy and deal 7 damage to it. That's huge! But you've got to exhaust Doctor Strange to do it. But again, this isn't in your regular deck. Think of it this way. It's kind of like having 5 skills rather than 1, but you've got to cycle through them, and you've got to pay a cost in order to use them. But they do look pretty gosh darn good. How about some other examples? So we've talked about Bands of Cyttorak. How about Winds of Wotum? Now, this is an invocation, but it is actually free. There's no cost. And you draw free cards. You just straight away draw free cards. Drawing free cards is good. That's more cards to discard to use your other cards, or more cards to just play. It means you get through your deck that little bit faster. That is wonderful. Or how about a card that wasn't shown on the article, but was on the live stream? Vapors of Valtor. It's free, and you choose a status card in play, you replace that status card with a different status card. I know, these are very, very powerful cards, but they are Doctor Strange's ability for the turn. You do have to exhaust Doctor Strange to use them. They do kind of seem like they're worth it. And to be fair, there's only 5 of them, and 2 of the 3 that we've seen don't actually have a cost associated with them. Now, we do need to have a quick look at Stephen Strange here as well. And if we have a look at Stephen Strange, your alter ego, we've got a recovery of 3, which is on the lower end. The stats for Doctor Strange aren't great. Again, hand size of 6, which they all have. And hit points of 10, which, lower end. But it begins a game with an Invocation deck, we've talked about that. And there's an action which discards the top card of the Invocation deck, limited to once per phase. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is at least one of the ways that we end up cycling through that Invocation deck. Remember, there's 5 cards in there, we're cycling through them. This is one way to do so, and once again, we've got brilliant synergy between the characters. That's kind of awesome. Now, we do also have some... And now, it's not an Invocation card itself, but we have got the card Master of the Mystic Arts. It's a 1-cost event, and it is a hero action. Pay the printed cost of the top card of the Invocation deck, resolve the ability, and then place it back on top of the Invocation deck face up. So you're not using this card to cycle through the Invocation deck, but you're essentially using it to use the cards twice. Because you can use this and then use it with Doctor Strange. Now, this essentially increases the cost of any of the Invocation cards by 1, because you've got to pay for Master and Mystic Arts and then the Invocation card, but that's still pretty good. You're still using these super powerful cards more often than you should be able to. That's a good thing. Now, we got some allies here as well. We've got Iron Fist. Now, Iron Fist is an ally, 4 cost, 3 health, 1 thwart, 2 attack, but you take a damage for each. And it enters play with 2 mystic counters on him. What's a mystic counter? Well, it's got a response. When Iron Fist attacks an enemy, you remove 1 mystic counter from him, and you stun that enemy and deal 1 damage to it, in addition to your regular attack. Yeah, that sounds pretty nice. And you can see as a side note here that the pre-built deck you give with Doctor Strange is built around the protection aspect. And in the stream we were shown Iron Man. Now, we all know that Iron Man is one of the heroes in the core set, but now we've got Iron Man actually coming in as an ally. We were all worried what was going to happen. We know the next hero pack is Hulk. We've not been showing it, but we know. And we were all worried about, oh yeah, but isn't Hulk an ally? Well, Iron Man's beaten him to the punch. So we've got 2 thwart, 2 attack, and 3 health. Not bad. You do take a damage for both thwart and attack. And you reduce the cost to play each upgrade on Iron Man by 1. Well, of course you do, ladies and gentlemen. It's Iron Man. You're building him up. You're using the upgrades. Of course, that would be what Iron Man actually did. And it's not an ally per se, but we can take a quick look at Night Nurse as well. A 1-cost support, and it looks like you get 3 medical counters on it. And there is an action whereby you exhaust a Night Nurse and remove 1 medical counter from her to heal 1 damage from a hero and discard 1 status from it. Nice. We got new stuff going on. We got Iron Fist with his mystic counters and Night Nurse with the medical counters. It's looking quite fun. It's looking like a lot of fun. Now, we do need a Nemesis. We do get a Nemesis. You should know who it is if you follow the comics. It's Baron Mordo, although this was also shown in the eBay listing we saw. A 2 scheme, 2 attack, 5 health minion, but it's got a force interrupt. When Baron Mordo attacks you, you discard the top card of your deck, and you look at the resource icon that card has. If we've got a physical resource, you're stunned. If we got an energy resource, you take 2 damage. If we got a mental resource, you are confused. If it's a wild, all of them. You take 2 damage and you're stunned and you're confused. Yeah, let's hope you don't flip that when you're fighting Baron Mordo. That's going to go pretty badly, pretty quickly. And we do expect an obligation card, and we get an obligation card. It is Physical Toll. Now, you may flip to Alter Ego form, and either you exhaust Stephen Strange and remove Physical Toll from the game, which, let's face it, is most of the time what we do with obligations, but shh. Or the next time you play an event, you've got to pay 3 additional resources, and then you discard the obligation after you pay an event. I've always found that the obligation are not quite as interesting generally as the minions and the allies and all of that. But I'll be honest with you, I'm so hyped about Baron Mordo and Iron Fist and all of that, and the Invocation deck, I'm willing to forgive it. It's alright, I like the art on it. Baron Mordo though, seriously, that sounds harsh. Now, those are all the cards that were revealed in the article. There was a live stream as well, and I need to give a massive shout out to the lovely folks who run HallOfHeroesLCG.com, who do a wonderful job of collecting together these images from the live stream. So I'll put a link in the description. Do go check those dudes out. So we've actually got a couple of other cards we can have a look at to finish off here. We've got Astral Protection, a 2-cost event, and we've got a hero action thwart. Choose a scheme, remove 3 threat from that scheme, and look at the top card of the encounter deck. For each boost icon on that card, remove 1 additional threat from the chosen scheme. So finally we can look at a card from the encounter deck and be happy when we see multiple boost icons. Well, that's quite nice. We've also got Unflappable, a 1-cost upgrade that can be played under any player's control, but it's max 1 per player. And we've got a response. After you defend against an attack and take no damage, you exhaust it and draw a card. Kind of like a reward for not having taken any damage. But we've also got Desperate Defense, a 1-cost event, a hero interrupt on defense. When your hero defends against an attack, it gets +2 defense for that attack. And if you take no damage, ready your hero. And then hopefully you've also got Unflappable to draw a card. Being able to defend and then ready yourself? Yeah. I'll take that, ladies and gentlemen. And finally, we've got Counterspell. It is an attachment from your Nemesis, and there is a Forced Interrupt. When you play an event, cancel its effects, and discard it, then discard this card. So essentially, in order to get rid of it, you've got to play an event knowing that nothing's gonna happen. That's a little bit sad. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's Doctor Strange. Finally, we get the official reveal, and it looks fun. It looks really fun. I am still adoring the fact that every time we get a new one of these, every time there's a new hero deck or a new scenario pack, we are getting just new mechanics and new ways to play, and they always meet and match the heroes so well. It makes me delighted. But I'd like to know what you think of Doctor Strange and this new hero pack, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk Marvel Champions and any other games that take our fancy. And do please consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.